Welcome to another video from the Linux Shed. Today we're going to go over configuring a static IP address on Ubuntu using Netplan. Netplan is a default network configuration tool since Ubuntu 18.04, which involves editing a YAML file located in your etc/netplan directory. So first thing we'll do first is check what current IP we've got by typing IPA, and it'll show us our IP address here. We don't need to worry about the loopback section for now. We'll just stick with our network cards. If you've got more than one network adapter in your computer, you may see more of these, but we've only got one, which is named ENS18. Yours could be named something different, but this is the name, and you'll need to remember that when we start editing the YAML file. So we'll go into the etc netplan directory. Before we do that, we'll just look at a quick example of what a static IP configuration looks like. I've created one here, so I do clear the screen. I do cat netplan. This is a default configuration. I will go over this when we edit ours, just and tell you exactly what each section does as we go over that. So first, let's get back to the etc netplan directory. If we ls that, we should have one YAML file in there, which is called 50cloudinit.yaml. So we need to edit that file. To edit this file, you will need to have root privileges, so you will have to be a sudo user. So we type sudo, you pick your text editor. I'm just going to use nano, and then the file name. And here we have our current configuration file, which is set for DHCP, as you can see just down here. So we'll start off, I'll tell you what each one of these mean, and then we'll go ahead and edit the rest of the file. One thing you must do is you must always make sure you use spaces and not tabs, as it can cause a lot of problems when we apply the configuration. So make sure you're always using spaces, and follow how I set it up, so you know where everything should be each line should start from. Right, before we do that, I can't remember what our IP address was, so I'm just going to type IPA. I've just gone out of the YAML file for a second. Our current address is 10.0.0.152, so we're going to change that to 10.0.0.155. So we'll go back into the YAML file. So let's go over the first section first. So network, this is the root node that opens the configuration block. After that, we've got the version. This defines the Netplan YAML version, currently 2, which it is always 2. I've not seen it anything else, so I've always seen it as 2, so it should be the same. So the renderer, this tells Ubuntu which backend service to use. Servers normally use Network D. Desktop versions normally use Network Manager. So if you're on a desktop version, you might see this say Network Manager, but normally if you're on a desktop version, now you would do it all through the GUI, not through command line. Some people do through command line, but it's obviously a lot easier and quicker to do it through the GUI. After that, we've got Ethernet. So it starts the configuration section for the physical Ethernet interfaces. So ours, of course, is ENS18, which we saw earlier before. Yours might be named different, so if it is named different, then obviously that will be what yours is named. So that's basically the device name. It could be ETH0, or it could be anything. Again, you can find that by typing IP space link or IP space A, and it will come up there. So DHCP4, if it's set to true, this means that it'll look on your network for a DHCP server and try and get an IP address. So we want to set this to static, because all servers should really be set to static. So we're going to name this as, we're going to put no on that. After that, we need to then create some more lines. It's not just as simple as putting no on that. We then will go and we need our addresses. Sorry, that should be yes, not no. Made a mistake there. You can either have it as yes or true. I always put it as true, but you see a lot of guides saying yes. So I'm going to put that as true. Now we need to do our addresses. So the addresses, this lists the static addresses that you want to assign to this interface. So I'm just doing one address on this, so I need to, again, remember the spaces. So if we go to the start of DHCP, so I'm starting this just under D. So I'm going to type addresses and colon, and then there's a new line, and I'm going to start this one just under the second D on addresses. And I'm going to put my addresses, so I'm going to do 10.0.0.155, and I'm going to do /24. So that's going to be the address. So if you're on a home network, if it's a home lab, or most of the time it'll be /24. So if you're going to put your IP address from your router, it could be 192.168.1 or .0. Whatever address you've got available currently on your network. 155 is free on my network. If you're not sure, I'm going to save this and just show you quickly. If you're not sure if an address is taken or not, one quick way of doing it is you could just ping that address. So 155. I'm not getting a reply back, so I know that's not currently being used. Now, there could be a device on your network that's off that uses that, but this is just a quick example. If there's another way of doing it, you can just go onto your router and look in your IP tables there just to see if any IP addresses are using the address you want to know. Most routers do have that DHCP starts from a certain range, so you might have a range of 50 or 100 which is not being used, and you could use one of them addresses. So let's go back to carry on editing this file. So we've set the address. After the address, we need to set the routes. So the routes is basically the gateway. It's a gateway it replaces the old gateway 4 parameter. It used to be called gateway 4. It basically tells the server where to send the traffic. So we'll do that we need to go just under where it says addresses. So we're just under as you can see, we're just under the A. And then we type routes. And then after that, we need to go just under the U. Again, we're following suit, as you can see from above. And this one is to default. And after that, we need to specify the gateway. So again, the gateway will be your router, normally a router. So it's via, depending on what type of setup you got. But my gateway is my router, which is 10.0.0.1. So if your router is NAT 192.168.1.254, that's what you'll put there. And now after that, we just need to do one more, which is the name servers. So again, we need to put that just under routes, name servers, and then the addresses, which will be just under here. Oops, see, I made a mistake there. I used tabs. You should never use tabs. Let me just double check it. No, there's no tabs there. Never use tabs. I'm just so used to always use spaces when you're editing a YAML file. So addresses, and then so this is your DNS. Normally, I put my router as my first one, and then if you're not fussed about where your traffic route's from, you could always just put your Google as the second one, which is 8.8.8.8. But they can be whatever you want them to be, whatever your DNS servers are. So after that, that's pretty much the file complete. So once that's done, we need to exit and save that. To save, it's Control and W to save. No, not Control and W. Control and O saves the file, and then Control and X to X out the file. Now, once you've done that, you've then got to apply the changes. If it's a production server or it's a server that you don't have access to physically, I would first run netplan, so sudo netplan try. This will try the configuration. Now, if this fails for any reason, if you've made an error, made a mistake, it may kick you off the server, but it'll within, I think it's 120 seconds. If the changes haven't been successful, it'll revert the changes back. So if someone was using 10.0.0.155, it will then try for 120 seconds and then revert back. So if you're worried that you can't get back onto your server, wait 120 seconds, try the old IP, and it'll let you back on. So we're just going to try that now. Now this might take a while, so I'll pause the video. Oh no, this is so basically now you've seen this setting here. It's asking me, it's saying that the settings are correct, they are working, there are no errors. Would you like to keep these changes? If I press enter, the new configuration will be successful, and it'll kick me out the server because I'll need to reconnect to 155. So I'm happy with that. Now, if you don't see this message and it's just a screen and it kicks you off, that means there's been an error. Like I say, wait 120 seconds, then try and log back into the first IP that DHCP assigned, and then try and have a look what you've done wrong in your YAML file, and then do the same again. I'm going to press enter on that, and then now what it'll do, it should be, if we do IPA now, we should see we've got 155. It's given us two addresses here. That's because we haven't logged out now. So if I logged out and log back in, this would disappear, and I would keep this file, I would keep this address here. So I'm just going to pause the video while I log out and try and log back in, and we'll see what happens. Right, I've just logged back into my server after the reboot, after restarting the server because of the IP change. And as you can see now from here, our new IP address is 10.0.0.155, and it is on the network device ENS18. So that's all, and if we do IPA as well, you'll see that the IP address is there, so that's all configured. So that is how you change, that is how you create a static IP address on a Ubuntu server as of 18.04 up to, this is 24.04, but it works on 25.04 as well. So if you have any questions or any problems, I'll be happy to answer them. All you got to do is just leave a comment, and if you like the video, please like it, and if you want to see more of this, please subscribe. That'll be brilliant, and it'd help the channel. So thank you for now, and we'll see you on the next one.